Wait a minute, you gotta hear this. It's a good line. They're going to kick the politics and ideological agendas out of our children's textbooks once and for all. Judy, Rebecca, and I are ready to kick some como se llama in Texas. To them and make sure their stories are told. I know the last Texan we sent to Washington may make you think. They may make you think that Texas doesn't have a lot of respect for education, or for science, or for facts. Yeah. Well, we thought we could kick him upstairs and get rid of him, and all I can say is, sorry. Now, I realize saying something like, I'm sorry, isn't enough. You have to make sure that it doesn't happen again, okay? Yes. That's why I need to talk to you about George Bush's protege and his successor to the governor's mansion, Rick Perry. Boo! They're going to kill me back there because I'm taking that extra moment to get you riled up. This past March was supposed to be a showdown in the Republican primary for governor of Texas. In one corner, Rick Perry, in the other, Senator K. Baby Hutchinson. Perry tagged Hutchinson as being a Washington insider. His ads claimed that while Washington was running up massive deficit, Texas had a balanced budget with cash in the bank. Of course, what Rick Perry didn't tell you, and wasn't man enough to say, is that he balanced the budget with $14 billion in federal stimulus money. Yes. Perry, by the way, has been making the rounds on the national conservative talking circuit. He made the cover, did you see him, on Newsweek magazine. And in a sure sign he has his sights set on 2012, he's writing a book called Fed Up. Well, I'm thinking of writing a book myself. I'm thinking of calling it Fess Up or Learn to Count. Why? Because you can't take $14 billion in stimulus money and then bash the people who took real political risk to make sure 3 million people across the country still have a job. But Perry's ads didn't stop there. He went on to brag that we have cash in the bank. Well, yes, Texas has a rainy day fund. But learn to count, for gosh sakes, because it doesn't even cover half the $19 billion shortfall that we have. You know how many zeros there are in 19 billion? 10 when you count Rick Perry. Let me tell you why. Because while Perry and the millionaire oil man who serves as lieutenant governor put their hands out to Washington to pay their bills, they turned their backs on unemployed Texans who needed help paying theirs. That's right. They took stimulus money to pay for their projects, but denied it for extended unemployment insurance. I am sick and tired of those who think it's okay for oil men to take a public check, but no one else can. For those of you who don't know my story, I had to quit school after the 9th grade to help support my family in the cotton fields of West Texas, weeding and picking cotton, and it's ugly work. So when I got a chance to work as a bilingual secretary for the local construction union in Lubbock, Texas, I took it. 28 years later, I became the first woman of color to serve as Executive Vice President of the National AFL-CIO. All of my working life, I have worked to open doors for women, minorities to serve at higher levels, and to increase support for women and minorities running for office. Then I retired, or so I thought. I thought for whatever I wanted to do. Learn how to sleep late. No more hopping airplanes, no more long days away from my family. But I think, as you know, it didn't turn out that way. Because you don't spend your entire life, working to lift up wages only to watch Republicans wash your life's work away. I do have to tell you, though, that I never thought I would run for office. But on top of what Republicans had done to our schools in Texas and the obstructionists that they were nationally, my heart sunk when I read what was happening just 2 hours down the road from San Antonio in Laredo, Texas. With a population of 250,000, Laredo now has the distinction of being the largest city in the nation without a bookstore. B. Dalton's bookstore shut its doors for good on January 16th of this year. And you can put another tombstone in the predominantly Hispanic south side of my adopted hometown of San Antonio, now that Walden Books has left, leaving no bookstore for miles. Once again, I thought, we have an economic crisis that the Republicans created, and once again, it's our families who are going to bear the brunt of it. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, by the year 2014, over 2 million jobs will be created in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. A bookstore would sure come in handy. Now, I realize us Texans are known for our big talk, but the outside world needs to know there is some truth to the Texas myth. Because when you're born in the Lone Star State, you just grow up believing the sky is the limit. It's true for this daughter of a cotton sharecropper, and in today's economy, it can still hold true for any child with a book in their hand. But before we get to where we need to be, we need to know where we know that we are. Texas today has the highest share of minimum wage jobs in the nation. Just another reminder that big talk doesn't pay bills. And unfortunately, it's likely to get worse before it gets better. Today, 1 out of 3 students who drops out of high school walks out without a diploma. Among Latinos, it's nearly 1